be here?
Yes, I do.
Are you absolutely sure?
I'm positive.
Whatever you have to do. Just find an excuse to win. Keep going.
It pays to be a winner.
Bring on the rain. Bring on the thunder, bring on the rain. Team Deathmatch. I heard a story about a man, somewhat of a legend, rushing there, strong in the battle, no matter the weapon. You can go to the campus, but you're gonna regret it when you get a boom like an angel is screaming from heaven. The game has just begun, it's about to rain more. Trying to get revenge, but you're running through the same door, laying on the same floor, down like a nigga saw. Even if you're over there, bunny hopping is claymore. Bring on the thunder, bring on the rain. Put the fear in your mind, let it ride through your veins. A hungry little beast, and he's out the cave. When you see him, better back away. Get on back, bring on the thunder, bring on the rain. Face the winds of a hurricane, it's not the same. If you're not on this level, better get out the way. When you hear that thunder ring, in the lobby you see him, legend of thunder. He's second chance and go 'cause you need him. He got your number. You know he's rocking puppies, defusing with chopper gun. So you're already thinking of places to hide under. But you never say, so get to digging your grave. Feel the wrath of an AK, picking you up as his graves. When the grenade covered in clay hit your face, move sway, try to get away, but not today, huh? You can hide in the corner, sending out dark stories, even though you know it's annoying. He will still come and destroy you. Mow you over and take control of all that you hold and scavenge, reloaded, tortured, blowing holes in your leave you broken. And there's no home for your bro, man, a dashboard. If you want, you can have more. You're mad 'cause you can't score. Go back to your ground war, rocket launchers and campus galore. KD is rising, but you cannot hang with the big boys. Bring on the thunder, bring on the rain. Put the fear in your mind, let it ride through your veins. A hungry little beast, and he's out the cave. When you see him, better back away. Get on back, bring on the thunder, bring on the rain. Face the winds of a hurricane, it's not the same. If you're not on this level, better get out the way. When you hear that thunder ring, you hear that chopper coming to gun you down. Hit you when you're spawning, your stinger launch, I can save you now. Running the building, but kudos coming to sniff you out. Puppies are hungry and the favorite flavor is stealth clown. He's like an artist, the rap with his paintbrush, create with the same studs and guns with insane bloods. The ace in a straight flush, he's on top of them all, no contender. Under the ripper, never surrender, you will remember. Soviet push, rookie find a hole and crawl in the back against the wall, but you're still about to fall. When the thunder and rain descends upon you to claim the very blood in your veins, your fetus should fill with his name. It's been a minute, you haven't seen him, the coast is clear, but then your body begins to shake from the sound you hear. The incoming enemy nuke, the hand of Zeus is coming down to claim you. Bring on the thunder, bring on the rain. Put the fear in your mind, let it ride through your veins. A hungry little beast, and he's out the cave. When you see him, better back away. Get on back, bring on the thunder, bring on the rain. Face the winds of a hurricane, it's not the same. If you're not on this level, better get out the way. When you hear that thunder ring, thunderstruck, leaving his mark upon your soul. Bang, thunderstruck, leaving his mark upon your soul. Bang, thunderstruck, leaving his mark upon your soul. Bang, thunderstruck, leaving his mark upon your soul. Okay, you fucking with the facts. So are you ready for the best? Said, are you ready for the best? Let's go. Yeah, I said I got this, I'm in it. I'm hella filthy, so I got this, I'm winning. I'm not a quitter, so I'm not fucking quitting. Just try to stop me and you'll drop dead missing. I'm on my way to the top now, listen. I ain't never gonna stop, too driven. I ain't never getting lost, got vision. I'ma make this shit hot, ignition. Yeah, y'all give me facts, not fiction. Then you know I fucking listen, cause I'm on a fucking mission. Man, you got to be driven, cause
Cause this world is unforgiving. You're the only one that's winning or the only one that's quitting. So get up and stay committed. Don't be asking for permission. Hit the gas after ignition and start acting like you're winning. Make your own damn decisions. Don't let others make you victims. Have a thought and have a vision. Don't get caught up in the millions.
Yeah, I'ma make this shit hot. Oh, I'ma light the shit up. Yeah, I'ma make this shit hot. Oh, I'ma light the shit up.
I got this, I'm on it. Give me 5 years and I got what I wanted. I'ma go ahead and finish all that I started. I'ma go ahead and get it all uncharted. I can make this place go off like a rocket. I can give a fuck if you hate it or you love it. I don't do this shit cause I think that you're on it. I just do this shit cause I know that I want it. I could give a fuck if I die today. If I'ma go out, it's my fucking way. At least I'll go out with some pride to my name. With the fight, not a play, that's my fucking way, ho. Y'all can sit back and think you heard the best of me. I can guarantee that you haven't seen the rest of me. I can guarantee that this shit's gonna be my destiny. And I will never sleep till I make it, then I'll rest in peace.
Yeah, I'ma make this shit hot. Oh, I'ma light the shit up. Yeah, I'ma make this shit hot. Oh, I'ma light the shit up.
The best, you fucking with the facts. Yeah. I don't even know what else to say. Let that 808 right out though. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go. I'ma make a couple stacks, do exactly what I want to. Mix a couple tracks, get a lady that I'm drawn to. Turn up to the max, get me faded till I'm gone, dude. I do what I want, couldn't stop me if you wanted to. I just work hard, yeah, harder than the rest. Some people say I'm lucky, others saying that I'm blessed. But I keep my head down, cause I crave progress. You ain't never gonna stop me, cause it's my conquest. And I'm never gonna rest, yeah. And y'all don't know that I'm a soldier. I always felt like I'm alone, yeah. When everybody thinks they know, yeah. And y'all don't even know I own, yeah. And now I'm ready taking over. Cause every day I'm getting closer. Just look at everything I'll show ya. And now I'm ready, I'ma blow up.
I throw up, and if you cross me, it was good to know ya. I'm impatient, I don't ever slow up. I stay young, no, I never grow up. I keep working to the point I throw up, and if you cross me, it was good to know ya.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I'm not the type to take no for an answer. I don't deal with people that are like a cancer. No, instead I hang with the people that enhance ya. And I'm not the type to give out second chances. I just wanna work on my own for myself. I don't need no help, not anybody else. Nah, man, I got it dealt. I'm working on
my wealth and I'm working on my health. Keep on working to excel, cause I'm working on myself, yeah. And y'all don't know that I'm a soldier. I always felt like I'm alone, yeah. When everybody thinks they know, yeah. And y'all don't even know I own, yeah. And now I'm ready taking over, cause every day I'm getting closer. Just look at everything I'll show ya. And now I'm ready, I'ma blow up. Yeah. Man, I promise that I'm gonna make it somewhere. As long as I'm conscious, I'll be working hard to get there. I am not a novice, I'm gonna be the best, so prepare. Cause you know I'm honest and I'm coming for you, be scared. Man, I promise that I'm gonna make it somewhere. As long as I'm conscious, I'll be working hard to get there. I am not a novice, I'm gonna be the best, so prepare. Cause you know I'm honest and I'm coming for you, be scared. Y'all already know. Yeah. That's right, y'all better watch out. NFX is on the rise. Yeah. I don't get what I want, I get what I need. Every single day I'm heading off to my dream, and I get everything that I damn well please. I don't give a damn if you all listening to me, cause I run it. I'm the only one that really want it, I'm the only one that's really on it. I'm just being honest, I'm just doing everything I promise, cause I want it bad enough that I'ma make it as an artist. And I know I'm not the smartest, and I know I'm not the largest, but I promise you that I'ma be the one that worked the hardest. Cause I promise you that I'm just getting started, and I promise you that my skills are getting sharper. So I'ma get charted, can't be guarded. Nah, I'm the one to get retarded. Get the party started, yeah, get the party started. Yeah, so let me get up on it, yeah. Bitch, you got me fucked up, I don't know what's up. Pour that shit in my cup, we bout to turn up. Crank this shit up so loud, sounds like we're sold out. In front of a whole crowd, we lose control now. Y'all take this shit too personally. Everybody got a different version of me, everybody gotta be learning from me. Everybody wanna be working with me, and I feel like there's uncertainty and urgency to find out what you wanna be. But honestly, we change our minds constantly, so stop and breathe to find out who you wanna be. Failure ain't an option, so I'd be cautious. I hope that you're watching. Don't try to stop this, work until I'm nauseous. Cause I will not quit, no, because I want this. Don't try to stop me, failure ain't an option, so I'd be cautious. I hope that you're watching. Don't try to stop this, work until I'm nauseous. Cause I will not quit, no, because I want this. Don't try to stop me now.
he's got time because he has to do he's got like 6 months to do it.
From Washington.
Reporting from London. New Delhi. Beijing.
From Darwin.
For ABC News 24.
You're watching ABC News 24. I'm David Ross. First, we have a breaking news story tonight. A United States military installation located in the Farkar Valley of Afghanistan has fallen following an attack by an as-of-yet unidentified paramilitary force. We turn to our Middle Eastern war correspondent Michael Kim for the latest.
Just hours ago, a large-scale firefight between the US Marine Corps and an unknown paramilitary unit ended with an embarrassing US defeat. The fighting began at around 6 AM this morning, with the citizens of Sheikhan awakening to the sound of gunfire and explosions as the US Marine Corps forces were exchanging gunfire with a group of paramilitary soldiers that were attacking a US forward operating base from across the Kanabad River to the north. The garrison US Marine Corps, numbering around 200 men in total, were quickly overwhelmed as the attacking force, which eyewitnesses have reported to be as many as 100 strong, crossed the Kanabad River and forced their way into the base via breaches in the perimeter wall, blown open by RPG fire. This attack, however, was not isolated. Forces believed to belong to the same paramilitary force also conducted several ambushes on US patrols near the town of Mata and to the east of Shakir. This coordinated strike across multiple locations was enough for the US Marine Corps to call in assistance from the US Air Force base to the north, but when US Air Force fighter jets and helicopters arrived to support, they found themselves targeted by shoulder-mounted missile launchers which shot down at least 5 aircraft, one of which included an 18 Warthog, marking this as the first time a US fighter jet has been shot down since 2003 during Operation Iraqi Freedom. 2 hours after the initial attack, a US Army convoy believed to be on its way to retake the fallen base and assist the Marine Corps forces was ambushed in another militia attack as it was passing through the small town of Burundak, located to the far northeast of the besieged US base. The fighting mostly died down following that ambush, with US forces retreating. While exact casualties are unknown, it is believed that most, if not all, US Marine Corps forces at the base were killed during the attacks. The defeat of US forces during this attack has shaken the international community's confidence in the US's ability to bring peace and stability to the region, which has been the site of an ongoing civil war between several warlords, all attempting to control the valley. The international community's doubts have been further justified, as it was reported several months ago that there was significant public disapproval of the US presence in the region. This shaky international confidence has been further amplified by Turkish state media airing footage that appears to show US aircraft firing on civilians who were attempting to flee the area of battle.
A-10 coming in south, everyone take cover!
This footage, believed to have been taken by members of the paramilitary force, shows a US Air Force A-10 Warthog shooting at and consequently destroying a bus filled with civilians, some of whom can be seen running and limping away from the bus after it violently explodes while the aircraft flies away. The International Development and Aid Project, IDAP, has published a press release condemning the US air response to the attack, stating it was conducted with complete disregard for the presence of innocent civilians and civilian infrastructure. None of the warlords operating in the region have thus far taken credit for the attack, and some have suspected that the attack was carried about by private military contractors or even Russian Spetsnaz forces. A spokesperson for the US Department of Defense held a press conference at the Pentagon today, and here's what he had to say.
This attack on a U.S. peacekeeping facility was far beyond what could be reasonably anticipated by U.S. military intelligence. An attack of such size and scale was until now completely unheard of, especially against a military installation. We are taking all possible measures to ensure that the base is returned to U.S. control as soon as possible, and to ensure that military intelligence will be able to foresee attacks such as these and hopefully prevent them from happening again. Coordinated large-scale attacks such as these are very uncharacteristic of typical militia forces that have been known to operate in Farkar Valley and the surrounding areas. This attack was very well coordinated, and the militia forces involved were very well equipped in comparison to what U.S. forces typically encounter in the region. As of now, we have no reason to believe that there was outside involvement, but I am able to confirm that we are investigating the possibility that this attack was conducted or sponsored by a foreign power. I want to take this opportunity to assure everyone that those who were responsible for this deadly attack will be held accountable, and that the loss of this base is a very minor setback. We expect to retake the base in question within the next few days.
Despite the chaos and destruction of the battle that took place today, the citizens of the region seem to welcome the attack and the subsequent US withdrawal. We spoke to Khalid Mustafa, a market stall owner in Shakir.
These Americans have come where they are not wanted. We never asked for Western troops here. After seeing the destruction and their planes and bombs brought to our city, we definitely do not want them to stay. As far as I am concerned, these soldiers who liberated us from US occupation are heroes. I know for a fact that I am not the only person who shares that view.
General public support of the militia seems to be as high as it could be. Some have reported seeing citizens offering goats or prayers to these paramilitary forces as they pass by. We did attempt to talk to some of the paramilitary soldiers that we came across, but none of them were willing to give an interview. This is Michael Kinn, ABC News. Back to you, David.
Alrighty, so give me a moment to unfuck everything, guys, and then we'll get the podcast rolling. So let's unmute. There we go. That one. Dismiss. Join Hangouts. George. There we go. Boom.
I was on the side, and at first I thought it was in Russian.
Alright. Fucking, where is the rest of it? There's Blitz's cam. I swear I'm a professional, boys. It happens all the time.
Yeah, right.
There's Blitz. Oh, where the fuck is Razors? There's the Razors. Alright, George, could you switch your camera to landscape, please? Anyway.
Oh, shit, that's a close-up.
That is a close-up.
Why is it
Alrighty.
so close?
Alrighty, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of TFAC
fix that.
After Dark. This week I am joined by, I actually have a co-host this week, so it's cool. But this week I am joined by Razor, Basil, and Blitz. So going from rank it down. Jesus, okay, Razor, fine, bug ya.
Hang on, I'll sort that out.
Well, fine, then we'll go for rank up. So starting from Blitz, just give your rank, your name, where you're from, and what you do, that sort of stuff.
Well, I'm Lance Corporal Blitz. I'm from 1-2 Bravo, and I'm the second in command.
Basil?
I am Basil. I'm from 2nd Platoon Charlie. I am their second in command.
Sweet. And Razor, when you unfuck your stuff, please.
Yeah. I'm Corporal Razorjax. I'm officer in charge of 1-1 Bravo.
Alrighty, cool. And so with that, okay then, fucking calm down, champion. Yeah. So with that being said, guys, we have a quite a large, substantial amount of topics to go through tonight. So we're aiming for about 90 minutes to 2 hours, with the sense of how long it's going to go for. Alrighty. So with that being said, we will go into Cool Kids mode roughly around the last 20 minutes or so, where you guys can ask your questions. We'll be interacting with the chat all night, so there's that as well. Alrighty, so the first topic, obviously, the news report. So that was made by PTP Gaz. Shut up, Odie. With essentially the first 2 to 3 missions that we've done with the Unknown campaign. So what do we think in regards to the development over the past couple of weeks? It's been a very interesting campaign, to say the least. So what do we think, George? George, we'll start us off.
Yeah, my thoughts were pretty apparent after the first message. I'm sure everyone was following the discussion that I was having with a lot of people in mission discussion. It's grown on me over time, as the arsenal's changed and the enemies that were faced have changed, and I haven't had my ass whipped by the US Marines in a long time. So I've grown to enjoy it a lot more than I thought I would. It is weird not having the TFAC uniforms and running all the weird shit, but we've obviously just gone through the Thomas Gets Kidnapped Electric Boogaloo Part 2, where he's been kidnapped once again, so we're going to have to deal with that in the next one. But overall, so far, I've enjoyed it much more than I thought I would.
Yeah, I was going to touch base before we jump over to Razor, but can we just, instead of the GoFundMe that Jazz was so nice to start this morning for my brother, but can we just switch that to Dino's acting lesson funds, please? Because for the love of God, I love the Man of Death, but far out, he needs some acting lessons. And he seems to have a habit of getting caught. So.
Well, both times now he's had backup with him. The first time it was when, well, the one that I was here for the first time, it was when Delta was in its first iterations, or maybe I think it was the very first time or something like that. Delta was with him when he got captured the first time, and then this time he's got those 7 reservists that were part of the salvage team or whatever, and now he's been captured again. So he's got all the backup he needs to not get captured, but somehow manages to every single time.
I honestly don't know. Razor, what do you think?
Yeah, look, I'm really enjoying it. The addition of some body armor and that sort of thing, I think, has sort of helped a lot of people with sort of PIDing and stuff. Generally speaking, I've noticed a bit less sort of blue on blue than we had in the first couple, or first op before we got that stuff. It also means that we're not getting sort of sniped and dropped in one shot, which is always nice. Just for a change, I think next campaign we should see Dino take somebody hostage, just to mix it up.
Yeah, fucking end up taking me hostage from the call out I just gave him.
But yeah, no, all in all, I like the way it's been going. It got off to a bit of a rocky start, but that's taking that cave system with the rest of Alpha, Bravo and Alpha attacked a cave system together. That was awesome. That was so much fun. An entirely new sort of environment to be doing some combat in. So that was really cool.
Yeah, so like just before I jump over to Blitz, with those cave systems, I was talking to Rusty about it, and apparently they're a part of the map. They're not Rusty didn't make them. They're actually a part of the map. So that apparently the map creator went into some stupid like Spartan level detail, because we all know my missions and how much they crash with the amount of shit on the map. The map maker just went all out and he created very intricate cave systems as well, which is really cool to see. Blitz, what do you think?
I've been away for one of these ops, but the first two were very distant. I missed number 3 because I was out, and then the last op was very, very good. I mean, I'm happy I've got an M4 platform that I can use again, so that's all I need.
Yeah, definitely. For those that have been asking, the news report that was played at the start of the podcast, Gaz has just put it in media for you guys as well. But yeah, so with that, definitely, I agree with all points. We've kind of talked it to death over the past couple of weeks, but it's good to see different people's perspective. You know, we had Dino, we had Tate from last week, and we've had Mac, we've had Cloaker, we've had a few other people, which is really good to see just how it's come around for all parties, which is really cool to see. Another thing to really note is I'm fucking surprised at how well the servers are coping overall.
Yeah.
Muzz, if you can confirm this for me, but was there like 92 to 93 people on this past op gone?
I know attendance was marked down as the most attendance we'd ever had. Yeah, Muzz just said what 92 was the amount of players, which is our player record apparently. And then we had before the op, there was every single section member, every single PHQ member was marked down as attending. And then right up until the op, that was the same, apart from one member from my section, and then towards the end, like the night before, or the night of even, there was a couple guys from First Platoon Charlie that I think dropped out. So we were like this close to having like a huge amount of people.
Yeah, it was. So there was a couple of people from second, and there was 2 people from first that had to bow out last minute, which sucks. And I was really, really keen to have a full company fucking attendance for once. But yeah, definitely. All right. So while I get the next sort of topic up, what do we think of the whole 1-1 golf unfortunately being disbanded or closed? Sorry, not disbanded, closed. So Razor, we'll start with you.
It's sort of just a bit unfortunate. I think we've got more people than we've ever had, and there's just, I don't know whether people are just a bit more keen on being the rifle on the ground on the front line, or maybe we just need to promote sort of the direct fire team and that sort of stuff a bit more. But it's a temporary thing, and all we need is just a few more people to be willing to jump back into it, or jump into it and have a crack. There's training available, you know. It's not gone. We just need that bit more sort of interest in it, and it'll be good to go again. So anybody out there, no, not recon, anybody out there who's interested
Never
in
say that word.
You said the R word, it's banned.
It's the closest you're going to get to running a fixed wing bomber, so think of it that way.
Yeah, I've had a lot of thoughts about golf ever since like I first started doing my first couple operations. I was like, oh fuck, I thought these guys would be like hammering objectives before every single time we move in. But I can definitely see the frustrations that some golf members had that I've seen, in that they're not used all that much. And I've thought about it a lot, and I've discussed it with a lot of people, and just like, I can definitely understand why people aren't interested in being in golf, because like, if you're sitting there and you get one fire mission throughout an entire op, it's a bit unfair. Yeah, what Gaz just said, it's less action packed. Like, the fire missions are dope as fuck, don't get me wrong. Shooting mortars is fun as hell, but when you're not getting enough fire missions to facilitate actually having that fun, it's kind of shit. Like, with the new immediate fires thing that Murphy brought out, I can definitely see there was an attempt made to utilize golf, but there was a situation last stop where I wanted to use it. We were surrounded, we're trying to assault into a town, and I wanted DFSW to just fucking destroy that town, but the whole issue of like collateral damage, we don't know what's exactly in there, we don't know if there's like civilians in there or not, prevented us from using them. Like, obviously it makes sense, like, we don't want collateral damage, we don't want to kill civilians, but at the same time it kind of limits what we can do with DFSW, especially because if the only targets we can hit are in the open, well, we're just going to want to take them out with our rifles because it's faster than waiting for a fire mission to come through.
Yeah, definitely.
On that, sorry, if I can just quickly jump back in. On that, it is good to remember too, they don't just do mortars, they do the anti-air, they do the heavy MGs, like, they do a lot of direct fire stuff as well, it's not just mortars. So, if you're worried about, I won't get as much action and stuff, yeah, absolutely, people need to utilize them a bit more, but it's also, there's a lot of direct fire stuff they do that they get to take out the big stuff, like they're using javelins on tanks, and they're the ones popping warthogs out of the sky.
Like last night, or last Sunday, sorry.
Yeah, or one poor bloody soldier who just copped an entire javelin.
Pretty much. Blitz, what do you think?
Golf shut down. Well, 1-1 golf was around. It had 4 members from when I remember. I don't really know the reason to most of them leaving, but I also feel like golf opening more spots didn't help. It kind of drew other people to a certain platoon instead of filling that 1-1 golf and then letting them fill up equally. But other than that, golf's a pretty important asset and is definitely underutilized on operations.
Well, they used that mortar truck thing that has a big fuck-off cannon in the back of it last stop, but it got blown up on the way to their first objective, so they never actually got to use it. But if because that mortar truck has the ability to go across the entire map, and I know there's been murmurs of making golf a COI asset, which would obviously be great if they have that fucking big fuck-off mortar truck that can send mortar rounds flying across the map to help out both platoons. Like Wilson just said, why not move it to a COI asset? I think a COI asset's a perfectly reasonable thing. The only issue I see with making a COI asset is how do platoons deal with air assets if they don't have a golf around to save their asses?
Yeah, so from the platoon commander standpoint, it's certainly a different sort of dynamic. I mean, from the mortar aspect, yeah, it would be good for them to be a COI asset, and definitely I do see the pros and cons of them turning to a COI asset. However, with the sense of everything else, anti-tank, anti-air, those things happen pretty much instantaneously where they come up on us. Whereas, with mortars, we can set it up and we call the fire mission through, whereas fucking tanks and helicopters and planes coming at us, that happens straight away. We need a direct, elimination of that threat. Personally, I would prefer them to stay a platoon asset, just so I can call on them a lot easier. Granted, yes, I don't necessarily use them as much as I should have, but it also determines on the kind of like the time frame that was needed and the type of terrain that we're traversing and a few other bits and pieces with the sense of the mission and civilian infrastructure, civilians themselves, friendly forces, a whole bunch of shit to worry about. Plus, it takes a long time. Well, not really a long time, but a relatively decent amount of time to set a mortar up.
Longer than
to do the calculations.
Infantry with rifles anyway,
Yeah.
Like, that was one of my main points was why wait for a fire mission to go through pronto, or go through Platnet, through Pronto, and then wait for them to set up their equipment, make sure they're in a spot where they can do it, not being shot at, not being mortared themselves, which happens all the time, and then send through the rounds and just hope that it's accurate fire, because there's always a chance that they'll fuck something up. Like, no offense to the golf guys, I know they're the best trained guys, but there's always the chance that you'll accidentally put down the wrong range or mishear a grid reference or something like that, and a message will get fucked up on the way, and next minute you're waiting on mortar rounds that are completely ineffective and miss when you could have just been shooting at the guys the entire time. You could do move the rifleman to having an anti-air sort of weapon. Like, I know it'd be a bit fucking weird and unrealistic, but like Spartan says, you need that anti-air capability within each platoon as opposed to the entire company.
Yeah, and it's not just
taking
anti-air,
on US
it's also
forces.
anti-tank that we really need as well. I mean, Rox came to me about a week ago, I will say, maybe longer, I'm not too sure, and having, essentially, he was essentially asking to attach himself onto PHQ as an anti-tank, or anti-air person. I mean, there's pros and cons with that. Personally, I would like the entirety of the Gulf there as well, and I'm sure CHQ would as well. But, that could be another option that we could pursue as well, where they have maybe one or two people assigned to a platoon that are strictly one anti-air, one anti-tank person that is assigned to the PHQ. But, that could also be another sort of aspect that we could try out as well. Anyway, so moving on. As most of you guys are aware, we've been running this new sort of competition called the Galloway Award. For those that don't know who Galloway is, he was Think We Will Soldiers. He's that combat photographer. So we've named it we've named it after that bloke. But we've also got the idea from Wada. Wada gave the idea of naming it. So there's that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the current, submissions, and we can kind of see what it all is, and the names of that as well. Alright, so I'm just going to switch over to game main. There we go. Alright, so this first one, it's known as Should We Move? And it's presented by Mr. Basil himself.
Oh, fuck, that's gorgeous. Holy shit.
Sucks. Shit.
That's such an old photo.
It is an incredibly old one. That was from I think that was actually one of the first screenshots I ever took. I just got really lucky.
Yeah, that was Roche campaign. I remember it was the time we were offloading all the troops.
Yeah.
No, that's when we were mounting up at the end of an op. That was
I don't remember.
when everything got a bit fucked and we had to load up and get out of here.
I don't remember. Anyway, so that's one of the submissions that we have. The next one is known as Declawed. It is from our resident Jockey Milk himself. So there's that.
Oh, cinematic as fuck.
I'm just waiting for. I know Pablo just submitted his as well, but I'm also waiting for Murphy. That's one person I'm really keen to see stuff from.
Get it. I know you're in the chat, man.
Oh yeah, Murphy's definitely in the chat. Anyway.
I want it now.
I want to see the photo about 3 seconds after that with the shot coming straight out of the turret at him.
Oh yeah, definitely. Anyway.
MVPs on helmet.
So the next one is what did Wada name this? The cavalry has arrived, and this is from Wada.
Oh god, what is this gonna be?
I mean, this was submitted when Wada was still with us, but we'll still give him credit where credit is due, with the sense of, he did make a submission.
What is your saturation on?
Wada's gonna win this just because Spartan and Thomas. Yeah, enormous erections.
Enormous jobs.
Yep. Anyway, so there's that one. The next one is called Merge Graded, and it is submitted by the fleek, sorry, and it is submitted by Mr. Resident AI himself, Mr. Muzzman. It's a pretty nice one.
That is a really good shot.
That's nice.
I will give him that. It's pretty nice.
Doesn't count when he can program whatever he wants to happen instantly. No, that's a sick one though. I like that.
He's definitely got a good one. Alright, so the next one, it is actually submitted by you, Blitz. It is Alleyway Exit. No, this one's a pretty nice one too. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Watch those motherfucking corners.
Yep.
Yeah.
Post the corner. Very nice.
Blurry 10 out of 10. Love it.
Yep.
Got some fairly cinematic bloom going on there, though.
Looks
Yeah,
like something straight out of like a machinima.
That is something that took about 4 hours to make, by the way.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
That bloom's so strong, you've got God rays coming through your ladder.
Yep. All right. So the next one, it is known as Hotel Landing. Actually, is it Hotel Landing? No, Hotel Inbound, and it is submitted by Mr. Tree himself. Kind of. I can't. Hang on.
If you don't run without a
There you go.
helmet, then you're not really a man, are you?
So.
Oh, is he like textured that to make it look like a Polaroid?
Like the
or
grass
something?
is...
Yeah.
Or is that what it is? Or is it like the grass is flying up?
I think it's like the prop wash coming out from the rotors.
Make it smaller. It looks like shit up close. No, I dig it. I actually like the idea behind it.
Yeah.
That's actually a good idea.
Now I gotta go back. There we go. All right. So this next one, it is submitted by private proficient Tim, and it's known as OG Alpha.
I know this one, maybe.
Oh yes, you do. Everybody knows this one.
No, this is the one. This is the one. This is my current animated wallpaper engine thing that I've got selected.
That's hot.
The platoon is, after all, the best platoon.
Yep. Alright, and so that's and then we have one final one at the moment. So guys, if you want to submit it, doesn't have to be TFAC related. It can be just any sort of cinematic style shot. You know where to find it. It's pinned in media channel. But the final one, it is submitted by Mr. Pablo himself. We know the man to be absolutely fucking insane with the amount of screenshots that man takes. I mean, it is amazing the amount of screenshots he takes. And he actually takes a really good one.
1-1 Bravo.
Pardon?
It's to make you guys look good.
Yeah, get us some screen time.
Sure.
Yeah, pretty much.
It does have to be.
So, and this is his one here. Just the story behind this is he just saw one of the boys, looking in the poppy field or the flower field during a quiet time of the last stop, and he thought it was wholesome, and so he took a photo.
Leg wound 10 out of 10.
That's not his blood. We don't take wounds.
Fair point.
Mesmerized by heroin. No, I really, he sent me this one before he submitted it. I was like, this is actually a really good one.
That's
it tells a proper story and like actually conveys emotion, which is really weird to say about an ArmA 3 screenshot.
Yeah, no, but you're right. It's like spot on. That's a sick shot.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one. Can I submit a screenshot with text? Not on the actual image itself, English. It has to be a cinematic style shot. If you look at the form itself, you can put a story behind it and the title of the photo, but unfortunately, no, I will not take in consideration of text on the actual image itself. So yeah, there's that.
Murphy asks if it has to be ArmA 3 related.
I mean, what else were you thinking, Murph? Oh man,
Don't ask. Why would you ask Murph that?
Yeah, I need to unfuck the cameras again. Hold on a sec. But yeah, all together, boys, what do we think of those like fucking craziness of some of their screenshots? As I said, I'm very keen to look for Murphy's, and I was really looking forward for Eldo's one, but Mr. Eldo's on LOA apparently.
Yeah, they were really sick. They were good shots. All of those were really awesome.
A lot of the other ones were really good. Like mine, now I feel like after people are getting those in game, mine feels like I took 4 hours to make that.
That's why I said to people, I said, fucking take your time and make sure it is what you want.
No, I think all of those are actually pretty at around about the same standard. I do have a preference for Pablo's one, but all of them are actually really, really fucking good.
I would also say Pablo's is.
Yeah,
they're definitely all weekly worthy for sure.
Not just because he's in Bravo. That was actually it was a really awesome shot that sort of captured one of those rare peaceful moments.
Yeah, definitely. Murphy said DCS is pretty cinematic. Yes, it is, but it is for ArmA and for TFAC. So try and stick it with ArmA, please. I mean, you could do some pretty DCS stuff or style stuff in ArmA. I mean, knowing you, Murphy, if anyone can do it, you fucking can. Because if anything, you probably submit that screenshot of what you put on the side of your aircraft for me, and then automatically you know that you're gonna win. So that's bad. That's rigging the system. That's bad. Anyway, so moving on to the next thing. I will do this at the end. Actually, I'm not going to do it now. But I wanted to tease my campaign that I'm working on. But yeah, I'm gonna wait for that because I just don't want to fucking deal with the cameras again. So yeah. Anyway.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah. All right. So next thing is the new persistent mission, the whole Hearts and Minds thing. Now, fucking, I know George, you've been on it a fuckload. Razor and Blitz, have you guys been on it a lot?
Yeah, I've been on with George.
I've actually been a bit slack with this one. I haven't actually had a try of it yet.
Right. Okay. So, just off like the amount of fucking sheer messages that go out on the Hearts and Minds channel, George, can you like explain what Hearts and Minds is to like me and Razor?
Essentially, Hearts and Minds is you go into foreign territory and attempt to win over the support of the civilians there by killing terrorists, defusing IEDs. That's basically the whole idea behind it, but there's just a bunch of more in-depth things. So you can't like just you don't have like just a flat meter saying enemy is this alert, civilians like you this much. You have to go into individual towns and ask, do you guys like us? And then each town or different regions will like you, so you have to work on regions individually as well as each town. And then there's the IEDs work differently. They're much larger and they're set off by proximity as opposed to like a pressure, or you have to stand on them. There's suicide bombers, like on the first town we ever cleared when the server just went up. We're walking up the middle of the road, and a suicide bomber runs out of like a little compound, says Al Akbar, and blows up and took down 2 of us. Basically, just the whole idea behind it is you have to think a lot more on your feet. A lot of information isn't fed to you. The vehicle system is interesting too because we can't purchase vehicles anymore. We get a set amount of vehicles, except if they blow up, you can tow them back to the main base and repair them there. So instead of like hoarding resources and being able to buy 5 tanks and just mowing through the entire map, we have like 5 UASs, 1 with a gun on the back of it, a bunch of Urals and stuff like that, and 1 helicopter. And every time you blow up a vehicle, you have to go back, tow it back to base, no matter how far away it is, and get it repaired because there's no way to get another one. The vehicles the enemy use are really interesting too. They use the new Hiluxes, so they have the new armored Hiluxes and things like that. But yeah, all in all, it's just a much more in-depth, much more think on your feet liberation. The only other thing that we haven't really had to fuck around with yet, because I think we've nearly finished it, but there's like radiation and EMP type mechanics to it. So the first ammo cache we found was radioactive, and I didn't realize radiation was in the game, so I grabbed it and started dragging it out of a building to blow it up, and I started taking random bits of damage, and I was like, is this box bugged? I was getting like tiny cuts, tiny bruises and stuff like that. And then Will came over to me. He's like, "Oh, are you just getting hurt just by standing around?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, yeah, you've been radiated. Everyone stay away from Basil." And so anyone that came close to me started to take the same damage. And any vehicle I got into would cause people to take the same damage and everything like that. So we had to haul ass back to base to the decontamination showers. Unfortunately, we died on the way back. But we haven't run into any of the EMP stuff or the radiation stuff since. I know there's the spectrum analysis thing as well there if you fuck with that shit, but I'm not sure if we'll run into it because I think we're just actually on the way to finishing it up.
Right. Okay.
That's my TED talk.
Yeah. Okay. So with that TED talk, is there anything that you can add that George didn't cover?
So it's like, sorry.
That's
so
right.
it's like a more complex version of the one we did before the World War II one, yeah, like a bit more in depth. Can't just walk in and blow stuff up. Yeah. 1 star. Fuck off. Move on.
Fair enough. Anyway, Blitz.
All I can say that George hasn't said is the M113 is now in bits and bobs across some sort of fucking field.
Oh,
that's all
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, Mac and I blew it up when you logged off.
Fuck's sake.
Right. Anyway. I heard you guys were doing cav stuff as well, so I'm a bit triggered about that.
Yeah, no, it's super fun. I encourage everyone to give it a crack. Just even if you try it. It's kind of not the same feeling at the moment because all we have to do is go through every town and clear them out at this point. But if another one goes up, I encourage everyone to try it. It's a lot more fun, a lot more engaging, less brain dead.
Post-stream.
I mean, we could. Anyway, so with that, kind of like we kind of segue into the next one is the death of the World War II lib. Me personally, I'm fucking devastated. I actually really enjoyed the difficulty of the World War II lib, of one not having a clear fucking ability to get supplies, the MVGs, how hard the enemy was, and that sort of stuff. I actually really enjoyed it. The only reason why I didn't play it too much is either due to my time frame or I would be the only one on for hours. And there'll be a few instances where like Razor would jump on or Henzer would jump on or very few people would jump on in the end, which really sucked. Because as I said, I really enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to when it does get set back up, either playing as the Allies or playing as the Axis next time though. So I know a lot of people had very different sort of views on it all. So we'll start with you, Blitz. What do you think?
I like the concept. I never actually got to play it because I never got through the mods before it got canned. So yeah, all I have to go off is pretty much the experience of others, and others were having fun at it. And as you just said, it sounds like a good challenge without MVGs and a good way to resupply, like in modern libs. But I really don't have any personal stories about World War II lib because I never got the mods downloaded in time.
Yeah.
That's actually one thing I can comment about is the mods were huge if you didn't have them.
Yeah, definitely. And like with that, because another thing that we could do in the modern day lib was use helicopters to ferry around the supplies from bases. In World War II lib, you had to use trucks, and those trucks were fucking slow. So there was that part as well. Razor?
Yeah, look, as Spartan, I jumped on a few times with you, and we just went around, took a few places. I still remember the first night I went up, and a bunch of us jumped on, and that was awesome. Really enjoyed that. But it very quickly, I don't know whether it was something to do with the aggression levels or something, but it very quickly got impossible to take and hold anything. Anything you did take, it would take an hour to an hour and a half to get through the stuff they'd send at you, and then while you were doing that, they'd have taken 2 or 3 other areas from another spot. So once that sort of balanced out, I really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, I got the feeling that by that point, a lot of people had got a bit sick of it, and so it got taken down not long after that. But I actually really enjoyed it. I loved the World War II aspect of it. I liked not having radios. It meant the communication became a lot more important, and you were passing messages down the line and stuff. Yeah, there was the issue with transporting supplies because it was a lot slower, but it's good and bad. You got to take it with it. I still remember the first night we did it. There was me, Roofy, Rusty, and someone else, and we were trying to catch up with everybody else in the middle of the night. They were all attacking a town. There was like the 4 of us running through the countryside in the middle of the night, and this one random German soldier just lit us up, and you could just see the muzzle flash, and it was really sort of like a cinematic moment as we all just hit the deck and we're trying to find him and stuff. So I really enjoyed it, but I can definitely see why people got frustrated with it.
Yeah, definitely. There's very much pros and cons with it all. I'm like that one time where I was on and then you jumped on Razor. I was fighting that objective for an hour by the time you rocked up.
Yeah.
It was just one fucking outpost. That's all it was. It wasn't necessarily what was at the outpost that was difficult. I mean, that was hard, yes. I mean, it took me 3 tries to get it, but I got there in the end. And it was more so the QRF that comes. That was always the kicker. The QRF that fucking just rails you as you're trying to like gain your bearings. Go, oh fuck, cool. There's a lull in it, and the QRF will come in and just absolutely rail you, whether it be from ground. Generally, it was from both ground and air. You'll have one small wave come through, either during that or post that. The paratroopers will come in, generally about 2 sticks worth, and then another wave will come in, and another wave. So I counted up to 4 to 5 QRF waves come in on one objective.
And usually by the time you hit about that third wave, it's like a full-on blitzkrieg. Like you can take like this tiny little objective, and they're just throwing tigers at you.
Yeah, and as you said, they're throwing tigers at you. It wasn't just infantry, it wasn't just trucks. It was tigers, panthers, panzers, fucking the little jeep, cumble wagons, or whatever the fuck you want to call them. And then when those buzzsaws open up, you're like, oh, okay, I'm staying down. Fuck you. I'm now a worm. Fuck off. Just due to the amount of sheer of fire that's coming down range. And but one fucking part of that whole liberation was Rusty and myself. Fucking pitch black night. We're moving up to an objective, and Rusty and I are just fucking playing bagpipes, walking across this open field, just walking across, and we're just playing bagpipes. People are popping up flares, other guys are shooting each other, and we're just Rusty and especially me, I was just not giving a care in the world. I was just traversing this terrain and playing the bagpipes. I ended up playing the bagpipes, and I think I kind of pissed off an AI because he turned his turret towards me and fired point blank at me. It's safe to say I died. But yeah, we even assaulted a town like that with Rusty and I playing the bagpipes, and that was probably one of the best parts of it, was those bagpipes, I thought. So yeah. George, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I can ride this on this as well. But I'll keep it nice and short. I agree with Razor. The enemy aggression was just way too high. Every time you try to take something, they'd send QRF wave after wave, and we had the bazookas, and they weren't that great at range, and the tanks were just nailing us at range, just completely obliterating us, and we didn't really have an answer for it until they came closer. I think one of my bigger gripes was with nighttime. I think if the flares were more viable, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. If we could fit more flares, or the flares lasted longer, I would have enjoyed night stuff a lot, because like Spartan said, it's a super cinematic experience, and when you're doing a cool as fuck assault, it's great. It's so much fun. But you need someone there that's dedicated to just firing flares, just has endless flares in their backpacks, and that's just not really that much fun for the person that has to be the flare boy. Other than that, I really, really fucking enjoyed it. I didn't play it too much because I hadn't. There was a bugged uniform that I didn't know was a bug where if you wore it, you were invincible. So every time I tried to play the game, I'd walk around invincible. And I'm like, why the fuck is this happening? And someone told me it was my uniform that was bugged out. So eventually, after I figured that out, it kind of died down, and everyone had stopped playing, I think, due to the enemy aggression being the main thing. But as others have said, you attack an outpost, and then while you're doing that, you just have to pray that your other stuff isn't getting taken over, as well as dealing with the quick reaction force and things like that. But yeah, overall, I definitely want it to come back. There's a couple changes I would like so it can become a bit more viable for the long term.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I think at one point I saw the enemy aggression levels peak 1200%.
Yep.
I think it's 1200 or 120. I don't know. It was some fucking absurd number.
Yeah, it got into the thousands, and the only way you can bring it down is by destroying enemy FOBs, which take it down 40% at a time. And to be able to get those FOB missions, you have to get intel by capturing towns. So it's kind of like an endless cycle of not being able to lower the aggression at all.
Yeah, definitely. All right. As I said, I'm definitely fucking keen for the next one to come up. And playing as the Germans, well, apparently we're going to be doing, so that'll be interesting to see. I'm very much wanting, at least if we can, this goes out to the J4 guys that are developing the Liberation stuff, or even the J2 guys, is when you're creating the Liberation, can you please put if we're playing as the Allies, the C47 Skytrain next to the initial base, so we can do paradrops pretty much straight away. I mean, that will make
it's not a bad idea.
Really fun, and have the exact same. I don't know, fucking aircraft for the German paratroopers, but yeah.
Because we had the respawning. I don't even remember what heli it was. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was a Chinook on the last Liberation
Yeah, it
server.
was, yeah.
That was really fun. But even if we just have the Skytrain, even if it doesn't have a place that it can be landed at, even if we just jump out like it's a glider or something, we just jump out and let it blow up and have it respawn in a couple hours, something like that would be super fun.
Yeah, or I'm also saying just have a Skytrain there so we can do airborne drops. Not necessarily have it like you have it respawnable, yes. Definitely not a mobile respawn. So we just take off, use the edge of the map to take off, go drop on a target, and then, Bob's your uncle sort of thing. So, I mean, that would be quite good if we could do that as well. Yeah, it did make CQB very fucking interesting, very hard. As I said, most objectives would take about an hour just to clear, even with a couple people. So there was that.
Those MG42s, when they light up at you in the night and all you see is a muzzle flash, it's fucking terrifying.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then these AI as well were also using grenades, they're using anti-tank, they're using tanks, they're using everything, which is really cool to see.
Everything but the kitchen sink.
Yeah, and even then they'll probably still throw it at you. Anyway, so with that, now moving on to what do we think about CHQ's and Mr. Wolfleck's new announcement being the Advanced Medical Cert. I know a few people are very excited. But yeah, now what do we think, Mr. George?
I haven't actually looked at it yet, but I have put myself down as a reaction for it because I'm always keen to learn more about medical. I know that after the most recent ACE medical updates, there was a lot of people annoyed. That's not just within TFAC. That was just in general that it became so much more simple. And I know some medics were saying that their jobs are basically being nullified because all you had to do was patch them up, maybe give them blood if they needed it, and just get them a heart rate, and that was it. There wasn't any need for morphine or managing blood pressure, epinephrine. You don't even need an epinephrine to get people up these days. It's just patch them up, give them blood if they need it, and then CPR, and you're done. So if we do change our medical system in the future and then have this advanced medical cert, or even if there's something in the advanced medical cert that we learn that can change stuff outside of that simplicity, it would be really, really fun and really welcome, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, because there's a few things, I mean, I can't say, but there's a few things that kind of were teased to me by Wolfleck himself, and I'm like, I have a stiffy just thinking about, which were quite interesting to see, that sort of stuff as well. Blitz, what do you think?
Gimme, I want advanced medical cert. Yeah,
what is your name,
at
bro?
The moment. No, currently the medical system is pretty simple. As Basil said, it's patch them up, give them blood if they need it, and they're good to go. Which, it's handy, don't get me wrong. It's easy, but it's lacking in very many ways.
Yeah.
For those who want a more realistic experience, it's definitely not going to give it to you in that sense. But
nah.
Yeah, no, definitely can hope and wait for what is it, airways and shit to be added. That's something I'd love to see myself and all that, but that's only speculation on what the boys have planned.
Who knows? Who knows at this point?
I
mean, if Wolfleck had his way, oh boy, he'll yeah, it'll be very much...
I mean,
it'll be rough.
Yeah.
Rusty wanted to add pathogens.
Yeah. I mean, that would make my bloodbath campaign so great. That would make my bloodbath campaign so great if we had pathogens. It'd be great.
Imagine that having an anaphylactic shock in the middle of a firefight.
Yeah, just give you an epi, you'll be fine.
True, we already have plenty of epi.
Yeah.
Who needs guns? Just bombard them with peanuts.
Exactly.
Cough on the enemy.
Yeah, I mean, we might do that for the next bloodbath campaign. Just fucking walk around the town coughing on everybody.
Just do that in real life. You might get arrested.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows these days? Are we a PMC or a private hospital? I mean, I don't know. I mean, technically we're PMC with the medical wing, so technically a private hospital.
I've never seen anyone in this company go to a hospital.
Yeah.
Swear.
I mean, if we did it to that level, I don't know, we'd have to implement stuff.
It's a
Mert.
field hospital.
Shut
It's
up.
called a
Whoever said
CCP.
Mert, I'm going to stab you, but yes, Mert. We'll have to implement Casavax and that sort of
Mert
stuff.
and
if we did
Cav
that.
make the perfect unit. Mert and Cav.
Just stab
Disband
you.
Alpha and make Mert. That's all we have to do.
Oh, disband Alpha, fuck. No, Paladin boys would be pissed. Anyway. So there's that. Alright. So, do you want to see the teaser for my campaign at all?
So motherfucking lootly, because I'm actually available on Wednesdays now, so I can play it.
Alright, cool. Brosh did have a good point. He had the advanced medical cert as his avatar, so it was my precious. Him going special with it. Anyway, alright, so it will mean that I need to unfuck the cameras yet again, but we'll have a sticky beak at the fucking screenshots that I've got for
Spartan, stop.
What?
Might not be appropriate to give someone a stiffy on stream.
Too late.
What if he gives it to himself? Does that count?
Oh.
So this is the first image.
Oh, looks like we're about to get fucking railed.
There's that. I have since
Then
changed
over.
this location.
That's just Pablo's screenshot. You just photoshopped out the copy.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not that good. Anyway. Yeah, so that's from fucking an off somebody ragdolled weird. Anyway, so here's that one.
Wait, who's that?
I don't remember.
Oh,
That be a bot.
that is interesting.
Is that a
Is that a
sub on the?
submarine?
Yeah.
Who knows? You might just have to wait and find out.
Naval warfare
I
when.
think I see the outline of Warhog engines on the back of that too.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sticky 18 at the back of the carrier. I think I can see that. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah. No, I think you're right. I see the wing shape.
Mac.
Mac
Right.
attack.
So there's this one.
I feel like these bunkers just aren't going to be here, and they're going to be placed with like coastal batteries and stuff.
I mean, the
Big
mods
ass
don't
box
have
of
coastal
88s.
batteries.
Just-
So they can spawn on
goddamn.
carriers, Murphy.
Murphy's having an absolute aneurysm.
Yeah, bugger him. We can just do like the Doolittle raid and have the A10s loaded on the carrier. They just take off. They don't land.
Yeah.
Anyway, so here's this one.
Is that a windmill? What is that?
You don't need to land it if
radio
you crash
tower.
it.
Alright, so I'm guessing we're gonna have to run across the beach. We're gonna have to boat through the open ocean, run up the open beach, run across the open airfield, and try not to die the entire time.
Oh.
Isn't that what we do pretty much every Sunday?
I mean,
least it's
with
placed on the
this
18
one,
to
this
land.
is one objective. I will kind of spoil it a little bit. This down here and this over here are not the landing zones.
Okay.
So,
Big funk.
Yeah, that's what they said at Normandy.
Fair
We'll
point.
land there anyway.
So there's
That's
this
what
one
they
as
said
well.
at Gallipoli as well.
This one now as well.
Oh, what? That's risky, alright.
That's
That
got to be
means-
pretty shallow there. I mean, is that
Yeah.
actually floating anymore, or is it just sort of sitting on sand at that point?
What you don't know don't hurt you.
Is that where golf's gonna be based out
I
of?
mean, it
stuff?
could. That thing's
Over
got a lot of guns.
stuff over and analyzing it. Jeez, just fucking take it. It's a boat.
It'd be
And
a
then
bot.
finally this one. But that's the old one. Alright. This one, interact, dismiss, join, click.
No, that looks actually pretty sick. Looks very large scale, which we don't really do that often, honestly.
So I will say this. For those that took part in the first Barbarossa, not the first, the revamp of Barbarossa, where we didn't land on that beach with like over 6,000 trees, the one where we actually landed on the island, I will pretty much say this, I've had to expand the AO. So...
I never played the first one, so I don't have any perspective.
Yeah, I missed the first one as well. So,
So did I.
but just based on those screenshots, I'll say this much: it's a good thing the camera only shows my face.
Exactly. You'll love it, you little whore. Anyway.
Well, it's after dark for a reason, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah, true.
I mean, you cunts should be drinking. I am. I mean, that cunt is like this much fucking JD. So, anyway. Yeah, so there's that. I have another one that I tried to get teased, but I'm still trying to find the right map for it. It's kind
Is
of...
this 40k?
No. So the 40k mission I have to completely redo, unfortunately. There's a few fuck arounds with that, so I have to completely revamp it. But shouldn't take too long. I mean, the initial part was the tedious part, so it should be fine. But no, the one where I said in mission suggestions the other week.
Oh, the Spec Ops one.
Style one, yeah.
What, the PvP one?
No. Fuck,
No.
I don't like
No.
PvP, so I'm not doing a PvP.
PvP is garbage.
It's the one where, you know, you infiltrate an Ian stronghold or a town. That one. So
Yeah,
I vote Halo drop. I vote Halo.
Hello.
I mean, it's up to you guys how you do it. I mean, I'm preferring you to do the Halo drop because you have to do it very stealthily, and it will. I
If
will
you're
say
not
this:
jumping
it
out
will
of
be
the
in the dead
plane,
of
you're a
night.
pussy.
Yeah, it will be in the dead of night. So there's that.
Halo
you're
drop
not
in the dead of
jumping
night.
out-
What could go wrong? No,
If you're
not
not
ODST.
God damn it. We're not doing another Optree when?
No, it's not Optree. That's not what I mean by Halo.
Optree when?
I fucking hate you all.
I'll try.
I fucking hate
Alright,
you.
can we talk about the... I know Blitz and Spartan are both in J2. Can we talk about the fucking drought that has been in J2 missions? For Wednesday and
mods.
Friday.
Yeah, it's mainly been the new mods, and we had to wait for... Well, we didn't necessarily have to wait for a template. It's just a lot of us were waiting on that template so we can make sure we have everything we need.
Okay.
With the
That
whole new mods.
and my focus hasn't been on Wednesday missions, it's been more on campaign length missions and doing all the writing for that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at the moment, I'm pretty much doing the same thing. And as I was alluding to in J2 the other day, I'm thinking of putting my Barbarossa campaign and making it an actual Sunday night op campaign, sort of style stuff. So
Yeah, the new Arsenal stuff has really opened up things for us.
yeah, definitely.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm definitely also keen to start running some special squirrel operations if people are keen to do that. For those who want their fill of, dare I say it, recon, you can do that on a Wednesday.
I mean, you just probably just made Wilson perk up like a fucking meerkat. Go recon.
I'll only do it if it's got Mert.
Yeah,
If
sure.
you do it, I'm gonna fucking kick you out at first. Anyway.
I will do it. I'll add it for you, Razor.
I like it. I like being in first.
You think you listen to the shitty podcast? Well, you certainly are, because you just fucking answered me. Anyway, so
logic that, Wilson.
Boom. Anyway, so yeah, we're kind of yeah, as Blitz said, we're mainly, a lot of us are focusing on main campaigns rather than midweekers. I mean, I'm still doing the midweekers. It's just fucking like my schedule for the week has been stupidly busy for uni. Plus, for some silly reason, uni decided to make me a vice president of one of the clubs, so I'm doing that as well, on top of my uni work. So,
what's the point of me not having a life outside of uni and work when I can't play video games because no one's making Wednesday or Friday ops? It's very sad.
Well, join J2 and make some.
Yeah, J2, you
fuck that.
bitch.
I have one I'm
Muzz will
working
always
on.
look for
I had it
people.
all written out, and then it ended up almost identical to my old one. So I was like, "Well, that didn't work." So I'm gonna have to figure out how I can make it a bit different.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
use your old one.
yeah, but like Muzz, Muzz will never say no to people for J2. At least I'm fairly certain, unless he corrects me right now. Yeah, I think the more people Muzz can get, the better. You know, because then we can just fucking pump out so many missions. So, I mean, we could repeat
Repeating old ones isn't a bad idea. Thunder just said in chat. Repeat old ones honestly isn't the worst idea, especially because we've got so many new members.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Definitely.
honestly, probably
Fucking
could run
five
another
I mean, if we
zombie.
want, I can fucking do Exterminatus one again.
Oh no, we just need more bloodbath, bro.
No, definitely need more exterminatus. I want a space marine again.
Yeah, with your voice changer. That was cool. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's always quite fun.
We need a 30-second timeout so I can run for a beer.
We can go do that now while I set up. Well, we can kind of talk about next stuff. Need to learn how to mission make because I've got some insane ideas. Fucking talk to Muzz.
If you've got any ideas or you need a hand, I'm sure there's people in J2 like myself who can help you and actually show you what the fuck to do.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely people that can sit down. I mean, both you, Basil, and Blitz, you work together to do Halo Op, so. Pretty sure, yeah? Was that right? Yeah? You guys work together?
George.
No, I didn't help him make the
No, I
Halo
just
Op.
made George command it.
Ah, okay. You just volunteered him to do stuff, cool.
Yes.
Fair enough. I mean, but like, yeah, that's got okay. Sorry, I get my emails on notification as well, and funnily enough, one of the next topics is about a certain thing that's been happening in the world, and I've got another email about it. Anyway, before we go on to that mass hysteria that is, let's talk about some upcoming games that are coming out. George, you said we've got Watch Dogs Legion?
Yeah, Watch Dogs Legion has been advertised for about a year now. It was meant to come out on the 12th, but the day came around, nothing happened. The game didn't came out, they never put an announcement out, and then I think a couple hours later after the release date they posted saying, look, we're delaying it indefinitely. And this is a game that is finished and ready to go. So basically, if you play Watch Dogs, it's the same thing, except you've got to build up like a massive community. You can play as a bunch of different people. Like if you watch the gameplay, there's guys, you get to play as like a grandma. You can go around and bash people with your handbag and then hack their phones afterwards. It looks really fun, but it's been delayed apparently because Breakpoint, another open world game by Ubisoft, has kind of flopped. Like people are playing it, but it's flopped, and so that's apparently put a lot of spanner in the works for Ubisoft, and they're kind of afraid to release anything else.
Fair enough. I mean, the only game that kind of piqued my interest on that list was Doom Eternal.
Yeah,
yes.
Doom Eternal is definitely something that a lot of people are excited for.
I mean, Mac Mighty just went fucking like Doom.
Doom is.
It looks sick. Like they've included so much more mobility and verticality to it, and really managed to keep that pace up while adding new stuff to it and never making it sort of feel stale and old. And that's like more games need to remember where they came from and really just sort of get back to that grassroots of what made them fun in the first place. Like you can have all the best bloom and graphics and every individual blade of grass have its own physics engine as much as you like, but if the core gameplay loop isn't fun, you're not going to do any good off it.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that they were able to take such a, this might sound bad, but like basic and like kind of overdone idea and make it new and refreshing without changing anything drastically to the point where it became unfun is really, really impressive. Especially with how good that game looks and how well it motherfucking runs. Like that is a staple for game optimization, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so there's a couple others. Angel, is that date for Bannerlord or is it from Doom?
That is indeed for Bannerlord, yeah,
Okay,
31st of March.
Yeah, it's on both my birthday and I think it's Coop's birthday as well.
That's the new Mountain Blade, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's another one people have been looking forward to for years and years and years. Like, God, people have been complaining about not getting a release date for so long, and now it's here. Looks so good. I've played the shit out of the first one. It's so much fun. I'm really, really, really excited for the new one.
I mean, I never really played Mountain Blade. I was going to, but just never really got into it. I think I was too much into ArmA at that point. And I just
Fair enough.
didn't play it. Too much into ArmA and very too much down the rabbit hole for Eve, so I just didn't get around to playing it. So there's that. Anyway.
Halo Infinite's another one someone just brought up in chat that I forgot about. Halo Infinite's definitely something people will be looking forward to as well, because that's going to be on PC.
Well,
and then obviously the rest of Anniversary Edition as well.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was going to allude to next, rather than go onto a bit more, was to say about Halo CE that has just come out last week. Was it last week? Yeah, last week. And Division 2 update. A lot of us have been playing the fucking stupid out of. So,
Yeah.
but no, I'm definitely fucking really happy that more Halos coming to the PC. It got to the point where Liv told me to get off ArmA and play Halo with her. So I'm like, yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough.
So
Yeah,
we got
fair.
playing. I mean, her playing Halo is bad enough. Her playing Spyro, let alone Halo.
Oh, Spyro. I got that for my girlfriend too. She played it for all about 5 minutes, got motion sick and stopped playing it.
Well, like, the way her and I played, because we're playing on a computer, I don't have a controller, and like I'll control the head while she controls the keys and such, just so she doesn't get fucking motion sick herself and just goes where she needs to go. So there was that as well. Very interesting with the whole Spyro aspect. But no, with Halo, with that first mission, she probably played about 15 minutes, if that. It was like, nah, I'm good. I got my fix. I'm like, you already just started the mission.
Jesus.
I said, now I have to finish the mission, or I have to restart it all again. He's like, no, just restart. It'll be fine. I'm like, ugh.
Like playing a PS2 game without a memory card.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, motherfucker. So,
I want a special mention. I know it doesn't come out for a while, but it was originally meant to come out next month and got delayed. It's Cyberpunk 2077. That is my jam right there.
Yeah.
That shit is all I'm about. Like, I'm pumped for Doom Eternal, but I've already got Cyberpunk. I'm just waiting for the release and I'm downloading, and that'll be it. Like, you won't see me except for Sundays.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I think, Cyberpunk is probably the most anticipated game right now.
Yeah,
the delay definitely killed a lot of the hype, though. In all honesty,
well, the way that I look at when I look at a game being delayed, I just look at it like the developers actually care what they're putting out and they want to make sure it's a good product. And especially when you have Keanu Reeves on the cover, you want to make sure it's fucking good. Because if anything, he created most of that hype.
Yeah, CD Projekt Red generated a lot of goodwill after Witcher 3 released.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, like most people I've spoken to about it are sort of like, yeah, we're bummed that it got delayed, but if it's CD Projekt Red delaying it, it's for a damn good reason. Like that game, Witcher 3 was so well optimized and all that sort of stuff. It was absolutely worth the wait. And if they're doing the same thing with Cyberpunk, I don't have a problem.
Yeah, definitely.
There's another one that I saw Murphy mention, Half-Life Alyx, which is obviously a huge one for the VR world. I haven't been following it too closely. I've watched a good amount of content on it. I'm not so much excited for a Half-Life game as much as I'm excited for the new, the new technology behind it, what it actually means for VR. Like, the shit you can do. It's like playing a fully interactive first-person shooter for the first time, really. Like, before that, there was Boneworks, which came out recently, but that was like a lackluster game. It did a lot for the technology, but Half-Life Alyx looks like it's going to be like the next step or like a milestone of some kind, especially with Valve behind it, with that going on. And it's also got a New Zealand comedian voicing one of the main actors as well. A really obscure New Zealand comedian too.
Didn't know that. Should be interesting. But anyway, so moving on to the next one is the Division 2 update, Warlords of New York. I mean, I haven't specifically bought yet nor played the actual expansion, but having the new stuff, even for those guys that haven't bought the expansion, still have some stuff to do. I'm enjoying it. I mean, this is the first time where I've actually had a lot of people play Division 2 with. Most of the time it's only been like 2 or 3, where I think the clan is now at like 20 people or some shit.
Yeah, about 20 last I checked.
Yeah, and just having that was fucking awesome, and soon to be able to do raids once everybody reaches World Tier 5 and Gear Score, whatever. I'm very much keen to get back onto it and to continue the grind and get to that point, because it's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully when fucking money decides to come my way eventually, I'm definitely going to be picking it up and having fun with it. So, I mean, I know there's very much different feelings regarding the expansion. Like I remember Wilson saying that there's quite a few holes regarding it, with the storyline at least. But there's also quite a lot of bugs, and Fiend just said in chat there's so many bugs at the moment. So there's that. But a lot of people are loving it still and still playing on it. I think another thing as well is having the group of people that are playing it right now is drawing a lot of other people in and picking it up as well. So she's quite cool.
I recommend it as well. I couldn't get into the in-game stuff that much because it was so. I don't know. It just got to the point where like I need a grind for electronics, and it's just boring having my only goal to be grinding for these little blue drops so I can perfectly calibrate my weapons to have the most optimized build. Like at this point, I could probably do a raid, but I'm one of those guys that min-maxes everything, so I don't know if I can comfortably go into a raid without knowing that my shit's the best it can possibly be.
Yeah, and with that, you know, I don't mind the grind. I mean, I'm probably the person that loves the grind the most here because I play Eve, but you know, I don't mind the grind. You know, having the grind there, it's something to do, something to work towards, and when you do achieve, you're like, fuck yes, I did it. I mean, that's what I'm gonna be like when I finally, because my goal right now is to mine, to manufacture, and build my own Titan in Eve. That's my goal. So, you know,
I bid you luck with that. That's going to be a hell of a grind.
especially with the new distribution changes coming to Eve shortly. So it's like, well, fuck.
Good luck
Yeah,
with that.
I like what the new expansion brings to it. The only issue I have it is the watch being gated behind the paywall to get the expansion. For people who play it, don't really understand how it works. If you've played Diablo 3, it's very similar to the Paragon system in that, where once you reach max level, you can keep leveling up specific stats. But yeah, it sort of bummed me out a bit that was locked behind the paywall. But I mean, I'm going to be getting it at some point. I'll probably get Doom Eternal first. I'm definitely getting Warlords of New York when I can.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, and with that, like, there's another game that kind of came out of nowhere, drop off the face of the earth because the developers haven't been there. Like, they have been there, but they haven't been there with a sense of the infrastructure of their game. And that's Wolfkrin?
Wilson or something
Wilson,
like that. Yeah.
Lords of
Mayhem.
Mayhem, that's the one.
Like
Yeah.
Because that looked really fucking sick, and I was gonna buy it, but I heard that, you know, it constantly crashes in the sense of the servers. There's quite a few bugs, and it's just developers just fucked it, you know, with the infrastructure.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
The multiplayer is basically unplayable.
Yeah.
Like the online play.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The developers said they were prioritizing fixing bugs before adding new content from this point on, but like when you launch a game and it's that buggy, you kind of kill a lot of the hype pretty early on. The only option is to do the whole like Wilson, Lords of Mayhem, patch 1.0, you know, like that a lot of early access stuff do to like show it's fully released in a way. Whereas that game is fully released. I'm pretty sure it's fully released, and it's just buggy as all hell.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I saw Co Carnage streaming it, and I'm like, I fucking really like it because I didn't mind Diablo 3. I haven't dove into Path of Exile yet, but I'm planning to, and just because I don't mind those types of games as well. I mean, I guess because it's also grinding, but yeah, no, there's that as well. How close to my capital? I mean, I've already got a couple of capitals. It's just how close to my Titan is another story. So. Yeah.
Oh, he's Thomas.
Oh god,
Oh,
he's
it's
DNA's.
about goddamn.
Yeah, fucking finally rocks up.
Alright, stream's over. Home, everyone.
We're all fucked now. And you know, he's only 90 minutes late. Anyway, alright, so we've only got a couple more topics to go over tonight. And that is, well, I'm gonna save that one for last, but I mean, we're all talking about it. We have been talking about it. Everyone is going fucking mental about it. Is the whole COVID-19, aka coronavirus. Yeah. I know personally from my work, my hours have been now cut down to 3 hours I mean, it was half hours before, and now I'm down to 3. So honestly, I don't know how I'm going to pay rent next week. So there's that. Hopefully, getting that $750 from the government doesn't take too fucking long. And I'm just waiting for the day until I get sick, essentially. I mean, in a way, I'm kind of looking forward to getting sick because it's 2 weeks off. But in the opposite hand, I need to pay rent, I need to pay bills, I need to do that. So I'm a bit foobar right now with the whole sense of it. But in saying that, at uni, so I have, like, my teacher for my integrated nursing concepts where I learned how to become a nurse is she's a scrub nurse, so a surgical nurse. And normally they would teach you, how to wash your hands up to your wrist. Fucking not now with COVID-19, and I have a theatre nurse as my teacher. I'm fucking scrubbing up to my elbow. So
I'm not surprised.
And then we're learning about like 5 points of contact and hygiene. We have to wash our hands with the disinfectant spray that you just rub into your hands and it dries itself.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have to do that as
Hand
soon as we get
sanitizer.
to the bed space, and as soon as we leave the bed space. As soon as we enter the room, we have to wash our hands with soapy water and that sort of stuff. And as we leave the room, we have to do the same.
Yep.
So it's like, fuck. Like they had to bring out the moisturizer because with this, like the disinfectant spray, it just dries the shit out of your skin, and you get really clammy and a whole bunch of other stuff as well. So it's like they had to bring out the moisturizer just so people can just like be okay with their skin and not get irritated. So there was that. Half my classes have now been turned online because one of my teachers, she literally said on the class page of going, "Fuck that! I am not coming into class. Like I'm not coming." So there's that. Yeah, it's interesting.
It's getting interesting here too. We had in Dunedin, New Zealand, I go to Otago University. We just had first case of coronavirus confirmed in our city. Previously, it was only in the North Island of New Zealand, so this is the first case confirmed. In South Island was last week, and now it's come to Dunedin from a guy who had motherfucking flu-like symptoms for the last 3 days, but didn't say anything or go to a doctor. So now he's given it to his son, who's gone to school for this week so far as well. So now that entire school has been closed down, and there's a chance that the students at that school, that I think it's probably like a 500-person school, have the chance of being infected with it as well. And then at the same time, my tutor said there's a 10 to 15% chance that university won't be shut down. So that means 85% chance that all the classes will be stopped and changed to online. But no one has any idea what the fuck is going on in terms of like doing shit online. Everyone's just saying it's going to happen. So we're really just sitting here waiting to see if it spreads a lot around where I live and if the uni's going to close down classes early, because Prime Minister said no gatherings of more than 500 people, and the university has shut down events that are gatherings of hundreds of people. But like there's still thousands of people traversing through my uni every day, walking right next to each other, sitting next to each other in class, all that shit.
Yeah, definitely. The same sort of things happen at my uni as well. With the whole Prime Minister as well, over here, canning all events over 500 people. The university, and since I'm a vice president of one of the social clubs, we've now had to go through and like rethink all of our current events that are coming up. We have a fundraiser, I think, next week or the week after, for what was it? I can't remember, but we had a fundraiser coming up, and we're now having to rethink that because of the whole virus stuff. And now there's 2 confirmed cases in Canberra. There's talks of, like I was talking to Evans and Tate the other day, and there's talks of shutting down their base, or at least going to quarantine or something. There's talks about that. The university is also talking about canning everything and going online. And like even I was talking to Dino the other day, and even his base is contemplating of going into lockdown. So there's a whole bunch of shit that's going mental. And I literally just got a message off Liv. She lives on the opposite side of town to me, and it was the same when I went to the shop before. over that side of town, the shops are fucking bare. There's little to no food left as well, or that have been on the shelves at least. Obviously, we know about the whole toilet paper fucking pandemic.
I have one roll left in my bathroom.
You poor bastard.
No.
Luckily, with my mum, she always when we always have toilet paper, and we've always got at least a packet at back, so we're fine. But yeah, it's getting mental. It goes to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna go full out and fucking buy everything. I ended up buying a few non-perishables or long-lasting stuff, and I bought a fucking slab of water. So I'm like, just in case it goes a bit crazy. So
yeah. Deacon in Victoria's switched to all online classes, and my fucking uni, 4 years and tens of thousands of dollars worth of fucking tuition fees, and they cancel my goddamn graduation ceremony. 4 years, the one thing I wanted.
Yeah, it's been pretty much the same. Ours has been postponed, and the old president of this club is pissed because she was supposed to graduate shortly. So, yeah, that's interesting. But honestly, there's been talks of cure. There's a laboratory up in Brisbane that is working on a cure. And has a potential cure
around as well, or clinical trials for a vaccine started recently as well.
Yeah, and there's this one up in Brisbane. Apparently, they need $700,000 to do it. But there's a clinic up in Brisbane that are kind of working on one, but I can't remember one of the type of drugs. But the other type of drugs that they're using, all in all, the type of drugs that they're using are very hard hitting sort of stuff. One of the drugs is used to combat HIV. And another one, I can't remember what the other one was, but they're used to fucking combat really heavy shit. To let alone that, it's gonna be fucking mental. And I got a message off my boss earlier on today. All personnel all across all the venues have to wear latex gloves at all times.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. No, for our school, it's shut down a lot of the activities. There was meant to be a group going on to do the overland next week. That's been cancelled. There's a group that goes out and does 6 weeks every year in Europe. That's been shit canned, and everything's gone. And some of my friends are even having to stay at home because they're type 1 diabetics. So it's pretty annoying.
I work at a KFC, so I'm hoping that they'll get mega corporate about it and shut things down really early on, so I don't have to go to work at all.
No, they wanted a KFC. Nothing grows on KFC, mate. They're eventually going to figure out that's secure.
Yeah.
Just eat KFC, bro.
Another thing that's really concerning, or at my end at least, is I always have a headache. I always have a warm head because of this headache that I get with my back. So the other day I'm like, I think I'm getting sick. Nah, it just ended up being my headache. But with Liv, so Liv has a pretty shit immune system. Last year alone, she got tonsillitis 6 times. And the hospital wouldn't cut it out either, so she just kept getting it, and getting it. So Liv hasn't got the best immune system, so we're kind of worried in the sense of for her. And since there are now 2 confirmed cases in ACT, don't know what the 2 blokes have been up to, but we're expecting once it gets over the threshold of a couple hundred people, it's going to be doubling every week or every couple of days. Once it gets over a certain threshold, it's going to be doubling every day. They're expecting, the CDC and WHO are expecting the peak of people infected or whatever by around June, July is the peak of millions of people that have had it. So that's what they're expecting at least. So we still got a few more months of this shit to go, by the looks of it.
Yeah, which is annoying because it's affecting my defense application. It's
affecting everything.
Yeah, it's affecting everything. I'm looking for a job at the moment. No school will pick me up because they're all talking about closing down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
my mate, she's a lawyer. She's looking for work at the moment too. Same deal. No new sort of like partnerships, or whatever they're called, firms. That's the word I was after. No new law firms want to take her on because they're all looking at shutting their office, working from home.
Yep, and they don't want to take on somebody new because that's more money, and then even with that as well, there's nobody's going out because of it all.
And no one can train her because no one wants to go around to her house because, going out in public. And it's affecting everything and everyone at the moment.
Pretty much. Yeah, it's
especially
very
the stock market as well has just been dipping like a mofo. It's actually been kind of fun to watch, in all honesty.
But I will say, and this is like the
not
fucking
for my
green.
mum. Her retirement's tied up in bloody stocks, so when they crashed, she lost a bunch.
Yeah, but like one good thing I guess could come of it as well is, this is fucking for all the greenies out there, the amount of like less pollution that's come out of the world. I mean, there was a thermal imaging or like a pollution imaging from the ISS, of the amount of pollution that was like from the couple of days before of the mass hit of coronavirus in China to when it really spiked, and just how everything just kind of like ground to a halt, and the amount of pollution that you could visibly see with the imaging just went down like 95%, as you really could see. So I guess the greeny side of things kind of won in that as well. So
there's a photo of Venice, the waterways in Venice that got released today, and all the waterways, it usually stinks like sewage and shit, and the rivers are actually pretty dirty most of the time. Someone posted a photo of it, and it was just crystal fucking clear because everything's on lockdown, so no one's working, there's no pollution going into it whatsoever. So it's just like a perfect look down at the bottom of the Venice, I don't even know what to call it, waterways, and they just look clear as fuck.
Yeah.
The canals.
I mean, I saw something today of Mother Earth is taking a break of her last shit and setting us all home. That's the best way to put it. I mean, that's probably like the best thing that has come of this whole virus shit that's come out is all that. I mean, I'm just praying to fucking God that I don't get sick and none of my friends that have been invited get sick to my party on Sunday. I'm hoping we all get sick afterwards because I want to do this party. I mean, if we all get sick, I'm just like, fuck it. It's now no longer a birthday / shindig thing. It's now a coronavirus party. Come along.
So what you're telling me is platoon orders and my section orders aren't going to be done until very late on Sunday because Tate and Evans will be incredibly hungover.
I mean, so the sergeants already know. They've known for a couple of weeks that it's falling to them this week. So.
Okay, doke. That's fine then.
But your section orders will be fall to you.
God damn it.
Well, it's up to you, Basil.
I mean, I will say this. Tate and Evans do have orders on Monday. So then they say, I'm pretty sure I can convince them otherwise, they say that they're not going to get as shit-faced. And they're probably going to go home relatively early. But we all know that's not going to happen.
They're drinking with Spartan, that's not going to happen.
We're just going out for a couple quiets. It's nothing more. Just a couple beers and I'll head home.
Said nobody ever.
I mean,
said everybody before the biggest night of their life.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why Tate's girlfriend doesn't trust me around alcohol. Well, it's not so much doesn't trust me. It just doesn't trust me
because you touch him
serving
when
it.
he's drunk.
She doesn't trust me serving it because she saw this concoction now, which is now the boys' favorite concoction when they come in. But it's essentially, I mean, obviously I'll make it stronger, but it's a different take on our Long Island iced tea. It's sweeter and actually tastes nicer. There's no Coke. It's made with lemonade instead, and Midori. So it tastes a little bit better, and the boys just fucking chuffed it down. So, yeah, it's not my fault that Tate's girlfriend doesn't trust me. It's Tate tells me to fuck him up, so I happily oblige. So, yeah, no, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be good fun. I'm very keen for it. As I said, I'm just hoping, for the love of God, it doesn't, get canned in the ass in the next couple of days before, lemonade and Midori. So the entire cocktail, I mean, I have to do it relatively mild at work, but when I'm making it myself, it's a shot of vodka, a shot of tequila, a shot of gin, a shot of Bacardi. Sometimes you do like maybe half a shot of Contro, but then you also do a shot of Midori. You squeeze probably about half a lime in it for the lime juice, and then with lemonade, you stir it, and that's what you get. So, actually tastes pretty fucking good.
I've got this really nice tasting drink that doesn't take an hour and a half and an engineer's degree to make. It's called a can of Jack and Coke.
I mean, it's not a can, but does this count? This is Jack and Coke. But yeah, so there's that. There's actually another shot that I found and kind of made my own. It tastes like a Snickers shot. So it's Kahlua, Frangelico, and Bailey's. And it tastes like a Snickers bar.
So like basically every single chocolate liquor poured into one.
Yes.
Delicious.
Delicious. But yeah, so there's that. Alright, so we've been going for about fucking 90 minutes now, so we're going to start the wrap
That's just
up.
on coronavirus.
Yeah.
I mean, to wrap that off, I just got all my classes put onto like Google Hangouts, so
Yeah, cool. Cheering.
F
I mean, I know
the
Tate,
chat.
he has all his lectures online as well. Anyway, so before we wrap it up, we're going to, while we talk about this final topic, we're going to switch it to Cool Kids Only mode. I mean, usually it will be for subs, but for this case, we'll leave it open for anybody. If there's any questions that you have that you want to ask us about the topics we covered tonight, anything else that you would like us to talk about, we can do so. I mean, last week we had, all the clips from the previous weeks. We ended up watching all together, so that was pretty cool as well. So while we talk about this last one being our best ArmA moments all together, you guys can chuck your questions and shit in the chat. So, Mr. Blitz, we'll start with you. What is your best ArmA moment?
Honestly, it probably has to be, and I know he'll hate me for saying this, but the time Tim, myself, and Zalo were on the training server, and Zalo decided to bail out of the helicopter, and we had to go rescue him.
That was gonna be mine, but I guess I wasn't there for it. But that clip, man, moves me to tears every single fucking time I watch it without failure. It is so fucking funny.
Yeah, definitely. That's
a
fucking
recurring meme.
Yeah, he's got a pretty harsh luck with the whole driving situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
There's also been a few times that Basil has messaged me and in the middle of op tray ops, like just raging and in Steam messages about things.
Yeah.
That was funny.
I mean, just so you guys know, it doesn't have to be related to TFAC. It can be your overall best ArmA moment. Just saying. So, anyway, so Bliss, that was yours. George.
My one was from the op tray op when I was in PHQ, and it was me, Blitz, and Tim. And we had Tim with us. And we just finished assaulting a town. We were waiting on the guys to move out. We were going to follow them. And we realized that our warthog was like 1.5 kilometers back. And then me and Blitz was like, oh, we're going to get the warthog. And then he like looks at me in game. He looks at me. He's like, George, like whispers to me. He's like, George. And then you just see his head turn back and forth to Tim. And then I did the same thing and turned back and forth to Tim. And we made him walk 1.5 kilometers back to the warthog to drive it back to us. But with Rusty, who was Zeusing, he was talking to us as we were waiting for Tim to walk back. And he's like, oh, Tim just about walked over an IED that I had sitting there since the start of the op. And then we laughed about it, and he's like, should I put one under his feet? Me and Blitz obviously said yes. So we were sitting there talking to Rusty. He placed the ID down ages ago, and then maybe 15 seconds later, in the distance, we just hear, poof. We knew exactly what happened. And I think I got a message from Tim as it happened, motherfucker, because he just walked for 15 minutes trying to get the squat hawk, and he gets blown up by an IED halfway on the route. Oh fuck, that was funny.
Right.
I mean, definitely my one.
I mean, before I give it to Razor, I know I'm just gonna put this out there. I mean, anytime that there's not really IEDs but mines, I fucking freak out. It's just previous experiences is like, there was one off where we had that massive fucking minefield and I ended up nearly having a full-blown panic attack. It sucked. Anyway, Razor, what's yours?
Cool, I get to follow that. Mine I actually wasn't there for. It's a bit of a bummer. But it was my boys doing me proud, and that was when I think it was Chocky, and I think it was Toast, and I'm sorry, mate, I can't remember who the other one was. Took down the radio tower and saved the rest of one platoon by themselves. I wasn't there for them personally, but fucking good on you boys, and they're my boys, and I'm proud of them. That's my moment. Rob, that's right.
Yeah,
that was the other one.
Rob, yeah.
Yeah, it was Rob because we were all sitting down in the town, and but next thing we get over Platinate is Chucky saying, "Yeah, radio tower's destroyed." Just the three of them.
Yeah.
Went up and did it.
Yeah, and this was just after I left as well, because I had to leave for work, I think it was. And
there was also that. There was that one time with Thomas. Well, Thomas got captured the first time, and there was that clusterfuck trying to get into the building. We sent the team in. Everyone went down. Evans rocks up. Didn't actually know what the fuck was going on. Jumps in through the window. Walks upstairs. Kills all three hostage takers, including the guy sitting behind Thomas by himself, unassisted.
Well, it wasn't just Evans. I will say that. So with that situation, it got to the point where both first and second were in the same town together. It was just a clusterfuck of having 60 people in close proximity, all yelling at each other. Unfortunately, during that time as well, second platoon HQ were a ways away, and I was the only leadership, like high leadership, that were right then and there. So essentially, I stacked up on the building with Evans and his team, and then we breached the building. We got into the door. One person went down, and we kept folding through. Evans and I made it through, and I think one or two other people made it through. I went down in the second room, and a few other people went down as well. And it got to Evans and somebody else that got upstairs into the hostages and that sort of stuff as well. So it wasn't just Evans. I mean, I definitely domed it at least 4 cunts walking through that door. So
either way, that was a huge clusterfuck.
It was a huge clusterfuck. It was a massive fucking clusterfuck. So yeah.
Matt, it's gonna be the exact same this time around. I promise you.
Yeah, most likely. Was it just Dino who got captured?
It says CHQ has
been captured. So.
Alright, so if anything, 2 platoons might have separate objectives.
No, Dino just said him. Yeah. He's our special boy.
I mean, the man, as I said at the start of the stream, that GoFundMe needs to be for him for acting lessons.
Do you have a recording of that? Because
no, I turned off my I turned off my stream. Because everything was going a bit fucky, so I just turned everything off. Anyway, so there's that. No, for the love of God, we are not talking about the SASR soldier. That's been talked to death in the Discord. And if we do talk about it, we'll be here all night, and it'll be a very heated conversation because I will end up getting pissed off. And I know for a fact all 4 of us here will have a different point of view on it. And I know, sure as shit, we will definitely have very different views on the situation.
100%.
Yeah, so we're not going to talk about it. Don't want to talk about it again because we'll be here all night. So there's that.
What about that time that we got the fob attack on? Was it the campaign before Roche? Where Murphy had to radio through and act as if we were getting this massive fob attack.
Oh, that one. Yeah. That was Malden.
That was another good bit acting.
Pretty sure it was Malden. That was really good. I really liked that because he was being ferried in via hotel and he's on the horn. I was mid brief. I had my backpack on speakers, and his call came over radio, and then the alarm started, and everything fucking went mental.
Yeah, I could hear I heard it come through the radio, and I was shitting myself because it was like I think it was my second op, that one, second or third.
Yeah.
I remember joining late to that op, and just having no idea what the hell was going on because I just joined in and there was gunfire everywhere.
Yep. Can we also just point out that Dino just said they yelled at me, I didn't like them yelling, so I surrendered. Fucking how much more of a sub can you be? Bend
That's
over,
why he's
Dino.
captain. That's why he's captain, because he does the yelling. Nobody yells at him. The only way he can handle it.
I yell at him.
Maybe it was someone who knew that fact. Dun dun dun. No. Also, you haven't seen Murphy's act until you set the JTAC course, and oh my god.
I mean, at least Murphy is better than Dino, and I'm calling Dino out.
I can agree.
I am calling Dino out.
I love Broch's American accent. That was all the way from up in New York right down to Texas, depending on where you were listening.
Jesus.
A lot of stars there, Broch. I'm assuming that's a thank you for the constructive criticism. That's what that is, yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, so... God, I gotta remember my favourite ArmA moment. One that I haven't said already.
You played the game for a very long time.
I have played the
Been
game
a
for
part
a
of
very long
TFAC
time.
for a very long time, so good luck.
Yeah, I mean, there's not
I've
just
only been
TFAC,
here for
there's...
I've
I'm
only
not
been
gonna
here
count
for a year, and like I can think of like 5 different things that I could say are my best ArmA moments. So can I imagine what it's like for you?
Yep, and like I didn't restrict it just solely to TFAC. It's his best ArmA moment. It can be ArmA 2 as well, and I've been playing ArmA 2 a lot. Or I have played ArmA 2 a lot. But actually, one thing I will say was, unfortunately, it wasn't with the TFAC guys or AusCorp or whatever. You know, I'm saying back before TFAC was TFAC, it was AusCorp. But yeah, so there was that. Was back in the unit I used to run, ATAF. And this was back when Daisy Overpoch? Yeah, Overpoch was a big thing. A huge thing. And I was searching around the servers for a good like Oceania region server that had decent population and I could bring everybody on. So ended up going, and then when I joined as we join our server we have our rank and that sort of stuff on our name, and I had the squad URL and a whole bunch of other stuff. And as soon as people saw our rank and like a clan tag, they're like, oh, fucking try hard. I'm like, yeah, right, I'm just here to have fun. Fuck off. And then I had the admins be smart asses and that sort of stuff. And I said, okay, you're going to do a wager? Sure, we'll do a wager. And the wager was, if I can sneak up on them, kill them, and, effectively kill them and raid their base, then I get to stay on the server and I get to bring my guys on the server. And I successfully did it. I mean, I think I still have the screenshot. I have to dig through fucking years worth of photos, but they actually banned me for it because I ended up killing all 4 of the admins and raiding their base with everything. It was just me. I'm like, okay. Well, then the next server we went on, which was actually a really, really big Australian server, and we had constant like raids up against us. So we built our base in a very nice spot. We had scouts and we had sentries all around as like an early warning thing, and we had like a multi-story compound, and it wasn't like what you normally see in DayZ these days where it's just a vertical fucking tower. It was actually a full fleshed out compound that we had as well. We had gun holes, we had established fighting positions, we had a whole bunch of stuff, multiple helipads, garages, and that sort of stuff. It was actually really fucking cool. And having that all come together in like a really drive in the DayZ Australia community was awesome, and was one of my highlights of at least my ArmA 2 game time. So that was that. So yeah.
One thing I know about the Australian gaming community is that when they enjoy something, they'll vehemently play it and make it the best it can possibly be. But they also have a very short attention span. So once a game's dead, it's dead, and it ain't coming back.
Well, there's a funny quote that I like to go is, "Hi, my name is Stan. I'm the man with a plan. I have a short attention span. What is that over there?"
Basically, yeah.
The Australian community right there. So there's that. But no. So alright. Are there any questions that I may have missed in the chat for topics to cover?
No, we're mostly just talking about how Dino needs an entire second company just to protect him these days.
Oh, even then, he'll still manage to fuck it up. And if I'm the one that goes saves him, if they don't put second platoon to go save him, and if I'm the one that goes save him, I am going to be the first one through the door and go, fucking hell, I'll go to Dan. I'm like, you're a dickhead. Why'd you do that?
He'd be standing in the middle of them. He'd be kidnapped by the Fulton recovery system or something.
Yeah, but you see, as soon as we breach that compound, it's going to be an episode of Blacked where there's like the 6 or 7 black dudes with Dino in the middle. I mean, am I wrong?
No, definitely
Exactly.
not.
So,
You are so not
and Dino's just sitting there going, "Help me, please." So, yeah.
No, he'll be sitting there being...
You are the
if this
white
is an
girl,
ep-
Dino,
like
you
it.
dickhead.
I was
That's
gonna
the
say,
whole
if
point of the
this is an
joke.
if this is an episode of Blacked, he's not saying "help me, please."
Yeah, fair point. I mean, he
He's
just
saying,
said
"Help me,
he
Daddy."
just said, "Can he be the white girl?" So he's
Well, he
definitely
can.
enjoying it. He's the traitor. That's one thing we haven't spoken
Dun
about.
dun dun.
That's one thing we didn't speak about was the whole traitor thing that was announced.
Yeah, actually, it's a good point.
We'll go on that quickly. Who do we think it is?
Thomas.
Do you think Dino? Blitz? Who do you think?
I actually haven't really thought about it too much, to be honest.
There's no hints, so... it's
No,
hard
there
to
hasn't been
tell.
any hints. But now, it's like a week after, we've been announced that somebody's a traitor, and now somebody's mysteriously gone. Oh, not really mysteriously, but been captured. Sounds like a recovery effort.
We'll probably find out when we rescue him that the traitor is the hostage.
It's
taker.
Infernus. No, it has to be Infernus.
We don't know that. We don't know there was a traitor. They just said TFAC has a trait. Now that they could have been trying to pay us a compliment. We have a trait of getting shit done. We have a trait of having very attractive leaders in our sections. No?
Oh, and
Yeah, I
obviously
know.
platoons. Obviously platoons. I mean, where do you think our section commanders get it from?
I'm older than you.
Shut up. I'm still high ranking. Anyway.
Enough.
I have a theory. It's Muzz because it's just Skynet taking its first steps.
Yes. That I do say. Yeah.
Thomas
And Chalky
suggested that
said...
I may have seen who it was, but I'm too busy to tell you at the moment.
Oh, fuck off, Dino. But
Apparently
Chalky did
Rusty's
say
been in it for a
has
while.
been like...
Perpetrator's been hinting at it for a
Yeah.
while.
What? Is that
That means I got to listen to all you cunts, and just I don't have time.
He
Is
has
that a
had enough.
platoon
He has
level
had
thing?
enough issues listening to me, let alone his section, let alone everybody else.
Sorry,
It
Basil,
takes-
what was that?
Does that mean the
Exactly.
name is too long to type out? Who has a long name?
Nah,
Chocolate
it's
milk.
just Dino having a short attention span, and
You know,
not, and
honestly,
not graduating now
Chucky
year
would
2.
be perfect.
Chalky wouldn't he be perfect? It's a perfect cover.
Yeah, but you
I don't
see,
think
if
so.
it was
I
Chalky,
don't
you know
think
how
so.
devastated Razorjax would be.
Yeah,
Do you not
I
have
would-
the
I
time
would
to
not be
type out? Okay,
impressed.
that's a hint.
One of my Bravo boys betrayed. No, all right, no. Although this is Rusty's camp, yeah, so probably.
And with,
He said he does not have the time to type
Guys,
out the
it's
name.
Lewin.
it'll be Lewin. Hasn't. I mean, I was talking to Lewin the other day, so maybe. Like Evans and I literally went into his work and said, "Oi, where you been?"
Lemon.
Did he say working for the Americans? That might have been the hint he dropped.
I mean, he's working with the Irish at the moment, so IRA must be the traitor.
There's no aliases that we use in TFAC that are similar. They have anything to do with time, so I don't know what his hint is there. Give us the first letter. Come on, make it easy.
Basil. Time. THYME. Time.
Get fucked. Yeah, I'm thinking way
True,
into it. What
Murphy
do you
does have a good
mean?
point there.
This is Rusty's campaign. You got to think at a level he can manage.
But also, Murphy has a good point there. It's got to be somebody you want too, because where did he get kidnapped?
Sorry, Rusty.
Murphy does bring a
Yeah.
good point.
Wait, why does there have to be someone on 1-2?
Because
that's
that's where
where Thomas got
was last
captured.
time.
Who was near the president when he died? 1-2. True.
Or
Well, that narrows it
or
down.
it's tricky,
Bravo is loyal.
or it's fucking tricky.
Come for me, Rusty. I fucking dare you.
Imagine if they tried to capture me.
It wouldn't work.
Imagine if it was the Resi staging a mutiny.
Ah.
Sorry, I was still trying to picture a scenario where Spartan gets captured alive. And it just...
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you want to take me? I mean, it would have to be like specifically Rusty coming towards me going, play the fucking scene. if they want to fucking go for me.
Stick to the script.
Yeah, but I mean, I think Murphy has the clip, or Murphy made the clip of back in, I think it was a Malden campaign, of where I think it was Golf be captured, and
on the hilltop.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah,
it was you up
yeah, it was
there
Bravo.
to go bring him back, and I'm like, because we're not fucking, I don't care, we're not going away, or something like that. I can't remember exactly what I said, but yeah. I mean, somebody can find
it
the
was
clip.
like,
Cool.
we have to pull out of the town, and I think you were basically.
Oh yeah, I said
were
I'm
like,
not giving a
retreat.
fucking inch.
Fuck that! I'm not giving an inch.
Yep, pretty much.
I mean, the fact that they've gone for like the biggest lion in the zoo is pretty outrageous. So,
Yeah.
Tomo.
Yeah,
I mean, he's easy target actually. It's
True.
like
he's a very
it's
easy
like,
target.
It's like a lion killing.
But
a
I mean,
deer.
like as well. I mean, so I don't know who here took part in the testing before the mission.
Yeah,
not me.
That was me.
Yeah,
I did.
So with the people that were there, Dino and I and Smith were in the lab. Didn't last fucking more than 2 minutes inside the town.
Yeah.
It's just how special Dino is.
Jesus, Dino. Combat Jack, gotta love it.
Yep, pretty much. Anyway, all right. So, are there any final things anybody would like to bring up before we wrap it up?
Gucci.
No.
All good. Anybody from the chat want to bring something up?
Last chance, motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, we've sparked quite the debate.
Yeah, I was gonna say nobody's even listening to us anymore. They're just paying attention to the chat.
Yeah, you're sleeping on the couch. But I'm always sleeping on the couch, Dino. You only invite me to the bed when you want something. When you want the dick, that's the only time you let me in the bed. Am I wrong?
Wolflick has a question. I'm sure it's going to be very important.
I am not fucking... No. Fuck you, Wolflick, because I know it's about nursing.
Pop quiz.
Yeah. Gaz, you can really get stuffed. Fuck you, Wolflick.
How many nurses does it take to screw on a light bulb?
I like Murphy's question better.
Yeah, actually, yeah. How large is your dictionary?
Which one? Wink, wink.
None. They just get the student to do it. But
Exactly. Anyway, all right. So if there's no final questions or comments, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here, as that is. Oh fuck, we're nearly pushing the 2-hour mark now. So luckily, with the sense of you guys wanting this shit to be fortnightly now, we're gonna start doing it. Fortnightly. So we're gonna do it anyway. So I would like to thank my co-host, Mr. Basil, and my guests, Mr. Razor and Mr. Blitz, for joining me tonight. It's been a very nice show tonight. It's been very fun, very good. I'm very much enjoying these podcasts, and just sitting here for a couple of hours and shit talking. It's quite fun. All right. Thank you very much for the subs, for the follows, and that sort of stuff that has come in tonight. Is very much appreciated. It is all going towards my rent, so thank you very much.
And thank you, coronavirus.
Yeah. Fuck you. Anyway, all right. Rob said be on the next one. I mean, seriously, it's RNG at this point. It's a luck of the draw. So we'll go from there. Anyway, all right. So please join us in 2 weeks, not next month. In 2 weeks. I mean, it technically is next month. For the next episode of TFAC After Dark. If you have any sort of subjects or topics or anything like that you'd like us to cover, please DM them to me or Mr. George, and we'll chuck them in the J5 chat and set up our script and that sort of stuff that we have while we go into this. With that being said, guys, I bid you good day, good evening, and good night for wherever you are in the world. I will be either jumping on Division post this, or even Hearts and Minds, or something like that. I'll be jumping up to Lounge 1 regardless. So if you guys want to shit talk more up there, we'll do TFAC after Dark, and we'll be fine. Alright, guys, have a good night. And again, guys, thank you very much for joining me. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good time.
Bye bye.